Hi everyone, I'm Dwayne Francis, and 41 years ago, 1979, me and David Vischer were on the High Council with a lot of other really fun people in Vista, and we did parties. And before the parties, we always would send out a little flyer or a little gimmick to get everybody to come to the party. So this particular year, we decided to do Superman. And so back in 1979, we filmed several of the High Councilmen and some of the presidency of the High Council then in the Vista Stake. And I found this old video, and so it's kind of rough. It's 41 years old, but I'm going to narrate it a little bit, and I think it'll be fun for those that lived back in the Vista Stake to kind of reminisce. Okay, so here we go. Super Mormon and Clark Kent disguised as President Jack Jones. We filmed this in Fallbrook, and here comes Jack Jones. He was a super stake president, and he was Super Jones. He and his wife, Dorothy, were just jogging down the street one day in Fallbrook, and a car pulled up with a really bad guy in it. And look what happened. He jumped out of the car, and he knocks President Jones down, grabs his wife, throws her in the car, and speeds away, going 60 miles an hour down the street. Well, nobody knew, but Clark Kent, Jack Jones, Superman, Super Jones, took off running to catch him, and he caught him. In fact, he was doing circles around him. He stops the car, punches the bad guy in the head, goes around and saves his wife. Wow. Let's see that again. Let's have an instant replay. Going 60 miles an hour, he runs around the car, gets in front of the car to stop it, going 60 miles an hour, no less. There it is. Punches him through the window, saves his wife. Jack Jones is a hero. Super Mormon, Clark Kent, Ed Flake. Not a lot of people on the High Council knew it, but Eddie knew how to fly, just like Superman. We heard about it, so we thought, let's go out and film him and see if he really can do it. And this is what we came up with. High Councilman Ed Flake. We always called him Eddie. There's Ed. We said, Ed, do you know how to fly? Would you prove it to us? And he said, well, let's discover flying. And he said he would show us his superpowers. So here he goes. Superman. There he goes, down the runway. Here he goes. From a different angle now. He's just about ready to take off. And he's going to take off now into the air. And now we're looking as if we're flying with Ed Flake. He took off from the airport over by Fallbrook, where he lived. This was his view as he was flying, showing us how to fly. We were on the ground looking up, and we couldn't believe that he took off all by himself with no help, just stuck his arms out, and he looked just like Superman. The camera was kind of close to him, so we said, well, look at us once in a while you're flying. And I think he did. Fallbrook, back in 1979, this was the view from what Super Ed Flake could see. There he is, he's flying. And if you look in the background, you can see we really filmed him flying. He was up there, flying. He had such a good view, he told us it was one of the great flights. We tried to ask him how he did it, but he wouldn't tell us. He just said he had superpowers, and he never did really teach us how to do it. But we had fun filming him, and he just went all around Fallbrook. Yeah, he's still flying. He loved it up there. That was what he told us later. That was one of his favorite things to do. All right, we told him, well, come on back. So he said, okay, I'll meet you at the runway. So we went down to the runway, and here he comes. He's coming in for his landing on the runway. There's touchdown. Mr. Superman. Disguised as Clark Kent. That's our Eddie Flake. Now this next video is my favorite. Gene Cook and David Hyde. Now David Hyde and Gene Cook both played baseball. Dave here was the head coach at Fallbrook High School. Look at his arm. He was the fastest pitcher. Watch this. Boom! And Gene catches the ball. It knocks him over. He threw it so hard. We went up to see the ball, and whoa, we threw it that hard that the ball was on fire. It must have gone 300 or 400 miles an hour. And Gene, look what Gene saw. Watch his expression when he sees this. Gene actually played professional baseball for the San Francisco Giants. There's Gene's face. I love that. But he saw the ball. Well, we said, Dave, pitch it to Gene and see if he can hit a home run. So Dave said, okay, I'm ready. He threw the ball, and wham! Gene hit that ball out of the park. It went so far, he had time to make a couple home runs out of it. So we said, how many home runs can you do before Dave Hyde catches that ball? And so Gene said, well, let me see. I'll just start easy and take a stroll around the bases. And then all of a sudden he turned on his superpower. He was going. He was going. I think that was 2, maybe 3, going for 4, 5. Oh, Dave said, I can get this. I can catch it. Went out of the park. He started to head down the street. He kept looking up to follow the ball. He said, I'm going to catch this no matter where it goes. Dave Hyde running through Fallbrook. We kept filming him. He kept looking up. He saw the ball. He saw the ball. And, oh, they went by the Bonsall City Hall. He's still going through the parking lots. There's the ball in the air. He still has his eye on it. Oh, look, from Fallbrook, Oceanside's 11 miles away. But he's going to go. Watch this. If you can show real quick. He actually saw an X-rated video, movie, and he ducked. He didn't want to see it. But he's still watching that ball. There he is. He's all the way to the coastline. There he is. Is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? He got it. He got it. Yay! Here's our next High Councilman. One of our favorites. Good old Joe Osterkamp. Now, Joe had a farm out in Fallbrook, and he had lots of bales of hay and trucks to load it. And this is what we found. We went out to see what his superpowers looked like. Here we are at Joe's place. One of his trucks that he put hay on. Oh, Joe's asleep. But what happened, somebody let the brake off, and the truck started going by itself. It woke up Joe, and here is some of his superpowers. Clark Kent takes off his glasses. How can he ever stop this truck? Grabs the rope and, whoa, I've never seen anybody so strong. Look at that. He pulled the truck all the way back to where it was supposed to be. Attaboy, Joe. He took his nap back in front of the truck. Oh no, the truck started rolling again. Joe, wake up. Don't let the truck, oh no. Truck ran right over him. Oh, but he's okay. He's Super Joe. In fact, he wants to show you how strong he is by throwing a bale of hay. Oh, no, he's going to stop the truck again. Go, Joe. Pull that truck back up there after it rolled over you. Attaboy. And here's Joe. Muscle Man Joe. He could really do this in real life. He was so strong. His hands, you'd shake his hands and you'd just lose your hand in his. Here's our next Super Mormon. Disguised as Clark Kent, President Bob McKinley. Many of you knew that Bob McKinley was a real estate agent, and he only showed the best properties in Vista. Well, he had 2 Arabs call him and said they wanted a piece of property in Vista. So Bob took him out to one of the nicest pieces he could find at the time. And here's Bob McKinley selling a piece of property to two Arabs. There it is. This was his best listing in Vista at the time. Nobody else wanted to sell it, but only Bob. Only Bob knew how to sell a piece of property like this. Well, here's the Arabs. They drove up in their brand new Cadillac. And here's Smiley Bob. Bob always had a smile. Come look, the Arabs are getting out of the Cadillac, and there's the sheik. He's the one that really wants to buy the property. And here's Bob, in his secret way, showing them how great this property is. He asked them, do you want to see what the inside looks like? Let's go see. Bob was showing them all the details. Great roof, great plumbing. The house is one of the best houses in Vista. He was the salesman of the century. What do you think? Here's the contract. You want to sign? How much was it? No problem. $1 million. Deal. The Arabs loved it. They signed the contract. But how are they going to pay him? They're paying him in gold bars. Those are real gold bars. And look at the smile on Bob's face, receiving the gold bars for selling one of the greatest pieces of property in Vista. What a salesman. Who else could have sold a place like that to the Arabs? Only Bob. And he's so excited, he's going to smile and run to the bank. Our next High Councilman was Brother Paul Russell, disguised as Clark Kent, Super Mormon. Money. Well, here comes Sister Russell. She was going shopping. She pulled into the parking lot, getting ready to go shopping. As she got out of her car, she looked into her purse. Oh no, all her money fell out. And as she went to pick it up, she discovered there was a $20 bill stuck under the tire. Oh no, what do? I don't want to get back in the car and move. How am I going to get that out of there? And then she looked and saw, here was Paul Russell coming to her aid. Clark Kent. No, Paul Russell. He said, I can fix that. I can help you. She called, please, please help me. He was strong. He knew what to do. He took off those glasses, got his superpowers, and what could he do? He was so strong, he lifted that car right up so she could get the money. And then he put it right back down. I've never seen anybody so strong. Here's a replay. He actually did it. He lifted that car. Paul Russell, who knew that he was so strong? Oh, my hero. That's the end of part 1. Now switch over to part 2 and get more High Council. Yes.